I have been waiting so long to make this video, and now that Solo Leveling has finished airing, I could finally make a full breakdown review of Solo Leveling Season 2. Guys, I ain't gonna lie, there was a few instances where I almost cracked. I mean, a couple of the episodes had peak fights, and I really wanted to make a video on those specific fights while it was airing. And honest to you guys, that I truly had a deep thought about this, whether or not to make a episodic review video per week or just compile it all in one breakdown. To me, I feel like as a viewer, you would prefer to see this kind of video compared to me just making a cheap, easy one-off video every week, like a 5 to 7 minute video just talking about the season. But I feel like you would much rather have this concise, thoughtful video. And that's what I'm bringing for you guys today. I know you guys truly deserve better. For all my fans out there, all my 1,000 subscribers, and any new people who watch this video, I hope you guys do enjoy this because I'm going to be going over every single episode of Solo Leveling Season 2. But before I get into that, always a warning, spoilers ahead. So funny enough, even though that I mentioned that I'm going to be reviewing the whole season of Solo Leveling Season 2, I already did episode 1 and a little bit of episode 2 in this video right here, the biggest aura farmers in anime. I recommend you guys watch that video. Click the link in the description to watch that. I will say though, even though I only briefly went over episode 2, I did want to say personally the fight with Baruka was so tough. Honestly, that was the highlight of episode 2, and honestly the only thing to talk about in episode 2. I ain't gonna lie guys, the animators were cooking in these first few episodes. Honestly, I'm not even surprised though, because this was a movie special. I'm not sure if you guys watched this in the theaters or if you just waited till it came out on Crunchyroll. Me personally, I just waited till it came out on Crunchyroll, but I know that the animators were extra cooking on these episodes because it was a movie event. Man, I wish Baruka became his shadow. Oh, that's such an L from Sungdrip Woo. So after that big fight against Baruka, the king of the snow elves, we get introduced to this guy right here. Monarch fans already know about this man, but if you're just an anime only fan, just remember this guy. I mean, you could honestly tell he's an important character just off aura alone. He's honestly not hard to forget. So basically this episode kind of had a lot of important information that sets up the rest of the season and onwards. Some things to note in this episode is that the sidekick Jinho is trying to take over the family guild, and Sungjin Woo is still climbing the dungeon tower in order to get the elixir of life for his mom. Then we get to see the sick ass fight scene against chubby ass demon. Hey yo, I don't know how the hell this chubby demon running like that, bro. He's looking like Usain Bolt. Bro, he's running like Xavier Worthy in the NFL Combine. Ooh, and we get this aura off between the douchebag versus this mysterious aura farmer that I mentioned earlier in the video. Okay, honestly, let's just say it. They already said in this episode too, this is actually Sungjin Woo's dad. And we basically get revealed that because the douchebag here starts talking shit on Sungjin Woo, which kind of agitates him. And then obviously douchebag realizes that he has relations to Sungjin Woo. And it's funny that douchebag here tried to out-aura Sungjin Woo's dad. I mean, he is the father. You can't out-aura the father of Sungjin Woo. And in the end, douchebag got fucked up. Yeah, we see he got his shit clapped. Honestly, the best part about this episode was Cha Ha-in coming out of the pool. My lord. Honestly, the animators knew exactly what they were doing. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that these animators are able to animate with one hand. Cha Ha-in is so bad. I would literally Anyways, moving on. Now we see that Sungjin Woo has finally made progress. He has now collected 2 out of the 3 things you need to create the elixir of life. So basically, he is literally in the home stretch. Honestly, personally, I'm so glad to see this, that he's actually making so much progress, because we all know that this was kind of one of his main motivations in the beginning of the series, even before he became the Sungjin Woo that we know of today. So a very important decision that Sungjin Woo decides to make is that he has to reassess himself. Because before this, we all know that he has been trying to just be hidden amongst the crowd. He just wanted everyone to know that he was an E-ranked. He didn't want people to know his true abilities, which is valid for Sungjin Woo, and we totally get that. But now, because he is so close to the elixir, he kind of needs more things, and in order to do that, he has to become an S-ranked hunter. Honestly though, for us viewers, this is gonna be sick because we actually get to see people's reactions of Sung Jin-woo, of his true abilities, and not just people underestimating him every single time. But with this, obviously, it does come with repercussions. It comes with some disadvantages for Sung Jin-woo as he is more known to the public. And I can see the redhead here, who is the master of the guild for Cha Ha-in, he is somewhat interested in him already. I mean, honestly, I don't really blame him because I would be interested in him as well, but for other reasons. I did really like the whole slice of life aspect in Solo Leveling, something that you rarely get to see in such an action-packed heavy show. These moments you honestly get to cherish because you really never know what could happen to any of these individuals because this verse is low-key really crazy. It's honestly fun seeing Sung Jin-woo getting to interact with all of these other strong characters instead of always just keeping him in the background, having him be this mysterious character. Honestly guys, it's so funny seeing douchebag right here all beaten up in the hospital bed while his arch nemesis, more like a one-sided one, Sung Drip Woo, yo, this man, he's just living life. As you can see here, he's smashing these crystals constantly and very fast. Whoa, low-key though, he's really good at smashing. And man, Sung Jin-woo's aura is actually insane. Cha Ha-in literally got a whiff of his smell and was already interested, to the point where she was low-key stalking this man already. She did follow him into the cave because Sung Jin-woo was chilling there. He was very curious about this A-rank dungeon. As we know at this time, Sung Jin-woo cannot reveal his true powers, cannot reveal his aura, so he just pretends he just wandered off there because Sung Jin-woo has to introduce himself in some aura-filled type of way. No other option. But can we just agree that my boy here has unspoken riz? This man is literally rizzing up the baddest bitch in the show by just doing nothing. Literally got her falling to her knees just off of his scent alone because he doesn't smell. Yeah, put him in the Hall of Fame, honestly. Can we just talk about how she legit was curious about him because he didn't have any sense? Because every single person she has met so far has this foul odor. I guess Solo Leveling doesn't know what a bar soap is. It's to the point where Cha Ha-in is literally on the phone trying to get information on him and literally is thinking about him in bed. That is crazy. Okay, I gotta stop glazing him for a sec. But fast forward and Sung Jin-woo gets dragged into the dungeon with this A-rank group because their supply carrier, or whatever the term was, the backpacker, he backed out. So they needed someone to fill in. That is where Jin-woo comes in. Oh, I can just smell something's about to cook. Oh, hey, quick shout out to this baddie right here, Gina. Yeah, she valid. Anyways, so we get introduced to these high orcs who basically stepped in while they were fighting these wolves. And at first, yeah, this A-rank team was struggling heavy against these high orcs. It was honestly low-key looking tough for them. I mean, this group might have actually just lost right then and there if Jin-woo wasn't there, but obviously because of him, he basically saved everyone. And what he did was actually so smart. He used his stealth in order to help out all of the other hunters. But honestly, that's not enough because a second wave comes in with the top dog basically telling the hunters to come in deeper to the cave in order for them to challenge him. And then we see this motherfucker right here. Can I just say though that the cliffhangers in these episodes is just bullshit? I swear to God, it is so painful after watching every episode, after watching all these hype moments being set up, and then they just cut that shit right when it's about to start. And I get it, I get that's what cliffhangers are supposed to do, but it like happened every damn episode. Anyways, we see mommy Cha Ha-in looking for daddy Sung Jin-woo, realizing he's in the dungeon. Obviously she's worried because she still thinks that he is an E-rank, so she goes in. Now the hunters, they see the guy that was talking to them. They see all of these high orcs. They see one right there sitting in the middle with his 4 high orc guards. Obviously the guy in the middle is the boss man. He is the top high orc, and this guy released this immense aura. Literally once he released that aura, every one of these hunters were shaking down to their boots. And of course the high orc, he senses something. He says that one of them is different from the rest. He is on the lookout for this man, but he does pay no further mind to it. And this part was low-key really sad, and honestly I even felt bad for the guy. But basically what happened was the leader of the A-rank dungeon crew, he's scared, right? He's also scared shitless just like everybody else, but because he's the leader, he has to do something. So he decides to attack full on. I respect the shit out of this man, but he goes, and then you pan, and then you see that none of his teammates move with him. So this man was like, oh my gosh, no one is following me right now, but fuck it, it's too late, I gotta go for it. So he goes for it, but he gets his ass beat. Oh my lord, yeah, this shit was so sad. The high orc didn't even move, and he was beating him senseless over and over like a ragdoll until the boy Drip Woo finally intervenes. And this whole fight, the whole vibes goes a complete 180. I mean, this man literally defeated one of the high guards with like a little finger flick, like, get the fuck out of here. Fast forward some events, we get the main battle between Sung Jin Woo and this high orc boss, which I forgot his name. Man, I'm just like Sung Jin Woo, forgetting everyone's name. Yo, this line was actually so tough from Sung Jin Woo. Basically, after killing all the orcs, he rose them as shadows. Then he looks at the main boss and says, that includes you. Oh my lord. And when the boss hears this, he literally questions his very existence. I mean, I would too, man. If Sung Jin Woo looked at me like that and says that I'm gonna be one of the shadows, his undead corpse, I mean, I'm not really complaining because I feel like that would be awesome, you know, just be his personal slave. And then this glitch happened. You know, this glitch has already happened earlier in the season as well, but it seems like this is going to be a subtle foreshadowing. Okay, but this fight starts to get juicy again. Even the boss orc thought it was getting juicy as the A-rank hunters wanted to step in to help out Sung Drip Woo, but my dog set up a high casting spell that if they even step foot a split inch, they're dead. They gone. This is honestly a crazy ass magic spell to have. OP as shit. But that was perfect though. It was honestly really clutch that he did that because there is going to be no distractions. This disgusting 1v1. But at this point, I am so hyped. I mean, this was one of the big fights throughout this season, and it was so beautiful and well directed that I legit creamed in my pants. I honestly wish I recorded myself because I legit did something down there. I'm not happy about it, but it happened. Funny enough though, Cha Ha-yin comes right at the climax of the fight. She's really good at coming at the climax, huh? But you gotta know that mommy's gotta witness the true form of that. But god damn, the animation of this whole fight sequence was literally insane. And this fight was just as beautiful as the Baruka fight. I mean, the choreo, the music, the directing, it was all legit. I mean, look at this. We literally see Sung Jin Woo having this awesome animation of him just dodging this beast ass magic spell. Then he grabs his long ass chain, long as my dick, but uses that chain to wrap around my boy, like in Star Wars, how they wrapped around the big ass machines, and then honestly knocks him over. Does the most out of pocket shit. He revives the 4 guards. Well, not 4 because he forgot one of them, but 3 of them at least. But this man legit revives his comrades after killing them and uses them against my dog right here. Hey man, Sung Jin Woo is kind of freaky, alright? This man's kind of devilish. But anyways, Drip Woo finally gets to revive this man, and he names him Tusk. Cute name. And we find out that Tusk is actually OP as fuck. Yeah, he is OP. He's an elite knight rank, which we haven't seen up to this point. And finally, what we all have been waiting for, at least for me, characters finding out who our true daddy is. Yeah, basically Drip Woo got so into the fight that he totally forgot that there was a crowd, didn't even realize that Cha Ha-yin and, you know, the security team came in as well to watch. This part was so cute though, seeing that the dungeon squad, especially the leader, which, you know, I really do have respect for this man because he actually stood on business and he was actually down to throw hands even though he was scared shitless. But everyone thanks Sung Jin Woo, and the cutest thing happened that mommy Cha Ha-yin got flustered as fuck. Not because Sung Jin Woo talked to her, nah, she just got flustered because she was holding a pickaxe and she thought that he would think that she looked weird. After that whole dungeon debacle, it's finally closed, and now we finally get back to the Hunter Association where we get introduced to this doucher right here. So this guy is a former actor and he is also a hunter as well. He is an A-ranked hunter, but I'm not going to go too deep into his character because he's not really important at all in the solo level leveling series, but he does get important in the sequel one called Ragnarok. Let me know if I should read that. So I ain't gonna talk much about him in this video because it is all about Sung Jin Woo, Drip Woo, and his assessment and his reevaluation of his hunter ID pass. I don't know what they call it, but you know what I mean. Just to clarify that he is him. Funny enough, all the other guild leaders, Redhead Glasses guy and President Beck, don't ask me why I memorized President Beck's name. Maybe it's because he's also one of my favorite characters other than Sung Jin Woo. I would say he's one of the top side characters that I like in the series. All the other S-rank hunters want Sung Jin Woo. They want Drip Woo to join their guild. Because it's Drip Woo, it's generational. Man, the glaze is crazy in this video. He finally becomes an official S-ranked hunter, becoming the 10th ranked hunter in Korea. And we get to see all the reactions of family, friends, former loved ones. Juhi. Did her dirty. Now my boy can finally get some stronger weapons, some stronger inventory to be able to get the last piece of the elixir of life. Now we see Drip Woo back at his place with his sister. And of course they gotta close all the shades to their house because they gotta hide Sung Drip Woo because all of the paparazzi wants to take some picture of him. They want something of him. They want his shmee. I don't know, whatever it may be. Like me, I want a shmee. But basically he's a celebrity now. And his sister ain't like that. She just wants Drip Woo all to herself. Nah, I'm just kidding, guys. I mean, it's so crazy. Every time I see Jinnah's character, I only think about the abridged series on YouTube about how Jinnah just wants her brother Shmi. Oh, we see this little ant fly by. Ooh, mysterious. Now, Drip Woo is back at the Demon Castle, all equipment upped, all upgraded. Basically, he sold a lot of his weapons that he had in his inventory, and he was able to get a lot of money for those weapons. And that is how he was able to buy all these new toys. Little side note here, Psychic's dad passes out. We then find out that he also got infected with the internal sleep disease. Basically what Drip Woo's mom has. Oh, and we see the ant here again. Yeah, he actually made it. Let's go! Finally introduced to Isoradiru, the demon baddie waifu. Oh yeah, seeing her in that position, God. Ooh, the next position she does. Gotcha. But in seriousness, she does start to glitch out. I mean, we've seen this before. We've seen it being sprinkled out throughout this season. She then passes out and Sung Drip Woo is able to catch her in her arms. Man, she is lucky. I mean, he's lucky. Honestly, the short time we get to see Isol, the more I wish she was part of the story. I don't know if you guys seen my top 10 hottest waifus in solo leveling, but I remember I ranked her in the middle tier. That might have to change. Look, seeing her in anime form, yeah, that might change. I might make an updated video. So some important info that you guys need to know before I get into Sung Drip Woo versus the Demon King is that the 4th raid of Jeju Island is confirmed and every single largest guild is joining with some help of another country. Anyways, let's just get back to the important juicy stuff. Drip Woo is about to fight the demon monarch Baran. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but he is the monarch of White Flames. I mean, Baran and his Wyvern was OP as shit. Honestly, the most challenging fight that Drip Woo has had so far, but it's crazy to see Drip Woo struggling, something that we're not really used to when he became Drip Woo. Some highlights of the fight that I really did enjoy was Drip Woo decapitating the Wyvern. I mean, the animation of that was so sick, but also the animation whenever Sung Drip Woo or Baran fights or moves. Like, it's actually crazy how well detailed the animation was just from like little movements that they had. Another highlight, which honestly was probably one of my favorite parts of the fight, was the jumping of Baran. That shit was so tough, having Tusk, Igris, and Drip Woo all jumping him. Then finally, the sheer 1v1 we get at the end of Sung Drip Woo versus Baran. This animation sequence was so beautiful. I ain't gonna lie, this shit actually made me come. This actually made me run dry. Pause. This mean ass uppercuts. Oh my lord. Sung Jin Woo delivered the most egregious uppercuts I've ever seen. Bro, call me a fanboy. I don't care. This shit was actually so tough. And if you disagree, I think you're just trying to be different. This could be in contention of anime fight of the year. Oh man, after that, in the end, man, Drip Woo finally defeats Baran and finally gets the last piece of the elixir that he has been looking for. On a side note though, I know I talked about this fight a lot, but there was a lot of other information that we did gather as well. As I mentioned earlier, how the big guilds were gonna join this Jeju raid with other countries. Well, that other country is Japan, and we meet this guy who's supposed to be a top dog there in Japan, Goto. Japan is gonna help Korea with the raid on Jeju Island, and this is where we're gonna see a lot of the S-ranked hunters from Japan. Okay, I will say the funniest part about this is that Solo Leveling, right, was originated from a Korean manga. It was made by a Korean. So all these characters that we know and love are Korean. Then now we get introduced to the Japanese characters, but both the Korean characters and the Japanese characters both speak Japanese. Because obviously we know that Solo Leveling got adapted by a Japanese studio, but it's funny because they don't understand each other in the anime and they have a translator there, but they're both speaking the same language. Drip Woo gets a fire ass shadow here in the Wyvern and he names him Kaisel. And at this point, yeah, Drip Woo is cooking with his shadow so far. Loki, I feel so bad for Isol here because we all know she wanted Drip Woo's schmeat. I mean, she was legit about to confess to him, but you guys know Drip Woo, he had a dip. He had to go get the milk. Nah, I'm just kidding. He just finally got the potion for his mom, so he had to eagerly leave. Drip Woo is finally back in Korea, and he is about to go to the hospital to go visit his mom, now that he has the full elixir of life potion. But first, we then get introduced to this man right here, Byung-gu. He's a friend of Baekhyun, and we find out that Byung-gu is an S-ranked healer. Finally, Drip Woo is at his mom's hospital bed, about to give her the potion, and he finally does give her the potion. And after a few minutes, she finally gets reawakened. Yes, Drip Woo's mommy finally wakes up from her deep slumber. We get this nice heartful moment between mother and son who hasn't seen each other for 4 years. And honestly, this was very beautiful to see, especially in a show that's literally just has been action-packed fights. Honestly, fuck the haters that say Solo Leveling has no depth. This is a legit prime example that it does have it. And it's honestly nice to see the MC actually fulfilling his main goal that he set for himself in the beginning of the series. And one important thing is that we also get introduced to this man right here, Thomas Andre, who we will be seeing later on in the series. But remember this dude. And at this point, they're just hyping him up because he is basically the top hunter from the States. I mean, the name Thomas Andre, where else would he be from? And of course, we gotta have the training arc. Well, not really a training arc, but this little mini arc that shows all the S-ranked hunters from Korea and from Japan. Obviously, they gotta spar a little bit, right? We gotta see what Japan's working with here. And basically to hype up this man right here, Goto. Who said that? So the training arc finally starts and we finally get to see the S-rank hunters from Japan and Korea fight against each other. And throughout, it seems like the S-rank Japanese hunters are just much stronger than the Korean ones, as winning every fight. Until our daddy, Drip Woo, steps in because one of the Japanese S-ranked hunters were going crazy. He was losing control, so our boy had to step in to stop that. Because of this, Goto takes interest in him, so he steps down. And basically, we get to see this little 1v1 matchup against Drip Woo and Goto. Of course, since these two characters are extremely powerful, the sparring match goes a little overboard, with both parties at one point had an intention of killing each other. The raid is finally commencing. We see that the plan is for the Korean S-ranked hunters to all basically go head straight to the cave, and all the Japanese S-ranked hunters are going to be on the surrounding islands for support or anything else that they may need. We didn't see some cool powers. We do see that some of the S-ranked hunters are getting the upper hand with some of these fodder ants. Kind of good vibes all around up until the ending of this episode. My lord, it was pretty brutal. But the Ant-Man himself comes out to play and just straight up obliterates this Japanese baddie. Honestly, seeing this made my mouth drop. He literally just off the baddie just like that. And that's where it ends. But also quick shout out though to the Japanese S-rank hunter, Kanae. My lord, she's so bad. Moving on to the story, okay? So the Ant-Man himself, you know what? You guys probably already know who I'm talking about. I feel like everyone at this point already knows who he is, so we'll just call him Beru. Yeah, guys, my boy Beru is finally here, and he's already putting in work against all of these Japanese S-rank hunters. And low-key, I'm honestly feeling bad about each of these guys because they're getting murked. It's not even innocent, soft kills. Dude, they're getting their asses handed to them. And while it seems like the Japanese S-rank hunters are struggling against against Beru himself. The Koreabus inside seems like they're having a better fight as they're growing more confident. They're getting more confidence because it's starting to look good for them. I mean, they legit killed the so-called Queen Ant, or so they thought. Positive vibes for the Koreabus. Yeah, you know, they started playing BTS and shit, and like, until our boy Beru steps in menacingly. Oh my lord, the amount of aura this man had just walking towards them was insane. Even when I watched this as a viewer, I literally shit my pants. Honestly, I can see why he's a fan favorite. I think Beru is just sexist. The first thing he does is he literally goes right behind Chahain and just brutally fucking knocks her shit out. This man had no shame. He just sneaked her shit. And it's kind of crazy because the first hunter he killed was also this Japanese baddie. Dude, I swear to God, Beru hates women. But talking about this fight, well, I don't even know if I consider it as a fight, as it was kind of a one-way beatdown for our Ant-Man here. Honestly, insane watching Beru literally just mollywop all of these S-rank hunters one by one, especially them playing the Dark Aria OST in the background, signifying the resemblance of Beru's fight and Sungdrip Woo's fight all the way back in season 1, I think episode 6, when he was killing off those evil hunters. But the difference is, in this case, it's just a lot sadder because it's flipped. Beru is supposedly the antagonist here, killing off all of the good hunters until the S-ranked healer steps in, and because of him, everyone is still alive and still able to kind of clap back. But it was very short lasted as Beru realized this, and he literally just offed my boy Byung-gu. It was low-key kind of sad that he got destroyed that quickly. And at this point, all looks bad. Everything looks bad. Chahain is down. Everyone else is down. One hunter literally died until our aura farmer himself steps right in at the last second like he usually does. That is Sungdrip Woo's known thing. I mean, this guy is an aura farmer. It's true, man. I feel like every single time this fool has to aura farm, no matter what the situation is. Because we all know in these specific moments when he waits till the last minute, the last second, oh yeah, it's a lot of aura, man. I mean, dude, he radiated so much aura from that, so I don't blame him for doing those kind of things, okay? Like, my lord. Oh, finally, what we all have been waiting for, the season finale fight between Sungdrip Woo and Beru. And my lord, guys, I'm not gonna lie, this was the best fight of the year, probably. I mean, I know it's only 3 months in, but after witnessing this, there's no way that another fight can literally top this. This was insane. And funny enough, I already said that early on in the video about the Badan fight, and I thought that would be in contention of anime fight of the year, but no, this one tops that. And it's so crazy how much of a landslide this fight did over the Badan fight, because that fight was beautiful as well, okay? But that's how you know this fight was just on another level. It literally shit on the Badan fight. Choreo, the directing, the animation, the movements, the soundtrack, literally everything about this fight was top tier. I mean, even the animators knew themselves, even the show knew themselves. I mean, look at President Beck's eyes. Like, this one scene where he was legit just astonished and his eyes were just following the movements of Sungdrip Woo and Beru. That's us as a viewer. That's literally how I reacted watching this fight. Oh man, I wish you guys saw my reaction to this fight. It was honestly, I was speechless. I don't know, maybe if I make a reaction channel or Patreon, maybe I should record my reactions from now on. Let me know if you guys will be interested in seeing that. I mean, literally the start of the fight was already tough, as both of them were trying to out-aura each other by signaling a punch, right? A first punch from each of them, and them just punching each other, but obviously Drip Woo getting the upper hand here is just so sick to see. And then seeing Beru's so-called final transformation, I'm not exactly too sure what the term of that would be, but the animation of him just legit transforming was so beautiful. I didn't look up who the OST was from, but it sounded very similar to the Dark Aria OST, so I'm not sure if it was from the same band. I'm kind of hoping, because this OST was so beautiful. My ears were literally jizz. And then it was just awesome to see Beru and Drip Woo just literally going at it. Like, it was insane. The one thing I will say though, that I really enjoy the anime version compared to the manhwa counterpart, is that it seemed like the fight in the manhwa was just a one-sided domination from Drip Woo. Legit, it just felt like a 10-second fight of Drip Woo just molly-whopping Beru. But in this case, in anime form, because I believe they added extra minutes to this fight, it actually kind of felt more balanced. Obviously, in some cases, Drip Woo was overpowering Beru, and obviously towards the end, he was definitely definitely overpowering him, but during the beginning / middle sequences of the fight, it really did feel kind of even. I really liked how they changed that aspect of the fight. It really made it more enticing. And I really did love this part right here where you really sense Drip Woo being a little desperate. Not super desperate, but just a little bit, as Bedu was literally so close to stabbing his eye. And it's just how they directed it. It seemed like Drip Woo had to make this last minute desperate move to max out his mutilation skill. But yeah, that last move that Drip Woo did to off Bedu, or at least basically get the finishing blow on him, was so tough. This part was low-key kind of sad. I kind of felt bad for Bedu, but the last ditch effort he had of trying to escape Sung Drip Woo was kind of sad. I felt really bad for him because he's just a little baby ant, okay? He was just born recently. But this part was oh so sick, as Bedu wanted to send off his ants, right? Then Sung Jin Woo counters with all of his shadows, and all of them just coming up one by one and just all oozing aura and just overpowering the ants. The leftover ants that were there was just, yeah, I might have to change my pants. Finally, in obvious fashion, after all of this, in the end, our boy Drip Woo brutally murders Bedu with his maxed out mutilation skill. Yeah, it's maxed out now. But everyone, I'm gonna put my mic here. Can we all just take a minute, bask in this fight, to accept how beautiful this fight was? Literally, us viewers were just like everyone else in the verse, just watching Drip Woo fight. Yeah, it's gonna be fun now that everyone knows about Drip Woo's true powers, since, you know, they recorded the whole thing. Oh no, Mommy Cha Ha-in is in danger. Oh god, yeah, this was really sad because at this point, she is in critical damage. Like, she might not make it out because they don't have enough time to get her to the hospital. They don't have any potions, and then the last ditch effort from Drip Woo trying to give Cha Ha-in the elixir of life, the little bit he had, that does not work either. So what to do now? Well, Drip Woo comes up with this master plan. Honestly, a great idea. I mean, it was revealed that it wasn't necessarily his idea, but basically what he did was he revived Byung-gu into a shadow soldier. And because he's an S-ranked healer, he was able to heal Cha Ha-in. And the reveal was that Byung-gu's soul spoke to Sung Drip Woo, basically told him to resurrect him in order for him to heal Cha Ha-in. And it's evident because right when he turned into a soldier, without any commands, he just went straight over to her to heal her. And I'm not gonna lie, this was a nice touch because we have a little dialogue between Beck and Sung Drip Woo. Sung Drip Woo saying that this is his true nature. He can tell that he's such a good guy. And then obviously Beck seeing him as a shadow walking around, being reminded of his human self. And it was nice that President Beck spoke up, and instead of commanding Drip Woo to do something, he just pleaded him. Asked him nicely not to use Byung-gu as a soldier because he didn't like to fight when he was alive. And obviously our boy Daddy is such a great guy. He accepts President Beck's offer. He releases Byung-gu's shadow soldier. And right before he fully vanishes, Byung-gu's shadow self gives off one last smile to President Beck here. It was such a nice ending to their friendship. And seeing that in the end, it does bring a little depth into Solo Leveling. And I say that because so many people hate on Solo Leveling because of the basic storyline, the action scenes, the great animation. But I feel like Solo Leveling does deserve some flowers in regards to some sad story elements they have. Low-key though, I wish he would have kept this S-ranked healer. That would have been so clutch to have in his shadow party group. But I know that would honestly be greedy at this point. Cause as Sung Drip Woo is killing off the rest of the ants, he does go over to the dead body of Bedu. We all know what he's about to do next. He's gonna arise, my boy here. And can I just say that this man Bedu literally got revived in the most majestic way possible? Like, why did that look so beautiful? Why did it remind me of Mothra getting reborn? Now it's official. Our boy Bedu is finally here. He is finally named by Sung Drip Woo. Now he's part of the group, and we find out he can talk because that's one of his best qualities, as we'll know future in the series. And now the 4th Jeju raid is finally complete after they were able to kill off the rest of the ants. Also, shout out to this man right here. They gave a little sneak peek of this man, but this boy is tough, okay? I mean, the little one scene he had literally showed off his aura, man. Oh my gosh, is someone gonna be a competitive aura farmer to Sung Drip Woo? There's no way. I mean, I guess we'll just have to find out, right? Some important info that we get sprinkled on throughout this episode is that Sung Drip Woo is starting his own guild. officially. We get introduced to these two characters right here, and they're gonna be part of the antagonistic group. I'm not gonna spoil exactly what they are, but we will find out in the later seasons. Finally, we get a monologue from our daddy Drip Woo himself while showing off some scenes slash characters of that will be important later on in the series. I know I keep saying that, but I feel like I just can't spoil everything in this review video. Just gonna have to wait till season 3 comes out. And of course, the very last scene of season 2, we gotta have Sung Drip Woo Aura Farm. Yes, one last Aura Farm for the season. Oh my gosh, I feel like the directors and the creators and everyone that's a part of the show just knows that Drip Woo is an Aura farmer, and I feel like they're just gonna use that. I don't blame you, because I literally changed my pants again when that happened. So in conclusion, my final thoughts is that I genuinely love Solo Leveling season 2. Regardless of all the hate that Solo Leveling's been getting a lot of the same hate Demon Slayer gets, right? Because the basic story carried by the animation, etc., yada yada yada. But I genuinely do like the simplicity of Solo Leveling, and I feel like Solo Leveling is not trying to be anything more than it is. It knows what it is, but it thrives and it excels at that, and you have to respect that kind of series. And I truly believe that this was one of the better animes that we will get in recent time, even with the so-called basic story. I mean, that's why I made this full-on breakdown of Solo Leveling season 2. I feel like I wouldn't necessarily do this with any other show, but I did enjoy this so much that I felt like I had to make this long ass video about it. And trust me guys, it's not going to be normal of me making these long ass videos, but if you really did enjoy this kind of video, if you really did sit through this whole thing, comment down below what animes you want me to cover in this style. I would be open to doing this again. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you could be notified for any future videos. Make sure to follow my Discord, Twitch, and all my other socials. P.S. If you hate on Solo Leveling because it's such a basic story and is carried by the animation, you're not a critic, okay? I will stand on business on that. I know you just don't want to be critic, just trying to be different. But come on, can you really hate Daddy Sung Drip Woo? Look at his aura! And I have to change my pants again.